Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Look around at the world right now, the pace, the pressure, the endless noise. And in our hearts, there's a deep, quiet longing. A longing for connection, for peace, for a moment with our Creator that fills our cup, that makes everything else make sense. Many of us carry a beautiful but heavy aspiration, the desire to pray Tahajjud. We hear about its immense power, its closeness to Allah, and we say, one day when life is less busy, when I'm stronger, then I will rise in the night. And yet that one day often feels just out of reach. And with that delay, a silent guilt can grow. We feel we're missing out on a divine gift. But what if I told you that Allah, in His infinite mercy and His profound understanding of our struggles, has placed within our daily grasp a treasure so immense that it carries the reward of standing the entire night in prayer? Look around at the world right now. The pace, the pressure, the endless noise. It's a world that operates at a dizzying speed, demanding our attention from the moment our eyes open to the second we finally close them. Our phones buzzes with notifications, our minds race with deadlines, and our hearts carry the weight of 1,000 concerns for our families, our livelihoods, our futures. In the middle of this relentless current, there's a deep, quiet longing that often gets drowned out but never disappears. It's a longing for connection. Not the superficial kind, but a connection that anchors the soul. A longing for peace that isn't just the absence of noise, but the presence of something profoundly fulfilling. It's the craving for a moment with our Creator that doesn't just briefly pause the chaos, but actually fills our cup to the brim. A moment that recalibrates our compass and makes everything else finally make sense. Many of us carry a beautiful but increasingly heavy aspiration, the desire to pray Tahajjud. We've heard the stories, read the verses, listened to scholars speak about its immense, transformative power. We know it's the time when the veil between the heavens and the earth is at its thinnest, when dua is accepted, when the believer has a private audience with the Lord of the worlds. We yearn for that intimacy. We say to ourselves, with all sincerity, one day when my schedule calms down, when the children are older, when I'm not so exhausted, when my faith is stronger, then I will rise in the night. Then I will become that person. We paint a picture of a future, more perfect version of ourselves, kneeling in the serene darkness. And yet for so many, that one day remains a mirage on the horizon, always just out of reach. The alarm goes off at 3 a.m. and the body, heavy with legitimate exhaustion, wins the battle against the spirit. We press snooze, and with that action, a subtle, silent guilt begins to grow. It's not a loud, accusing guilt, but a quiet whisper, you failed again. You missed out. Others are connecting and you're sleeping. We start to feel like we're standing outside a beautifully lit room, peering in at a feast of spiritual blessings we just can't seem to enter. We feel we're missing out on a divine gift meant for the truly righteous, the spiritual elite, and that perhaps we don't have what it takes. But what if I told you that this very feeling, this gap between our aspiration and our reality, is precisely where Allah's most profound mercy rushes in? What if the narrative we've told ourselves is incomplete? Allah, in His infinite wisdom and His intimate understanding of the human heart and its struggles, never designed His religion to be a source of persistent guilt for the sincere. He is Al-Wadad, the loving, Ar-Rahman, the most merciful, Al-Latif, the subtle, the kind. He knows the weight of your job, the depth of your fatigue, the demands of a newborn, the anxiety that keeps you awake yet too drained to pray. And in that knowing, He has placed within our daily grasp, in the very rhythm of our ordinary lives, a treasure so immense, so accessible, that it carries the reward of standing the entire night in prayer. This isn't a consolation prize. This is a master key, a divine shortcut embedded with mercy, revealed in a moment of profound relief to our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, himself, and to all of us who would follow. Don't miss this. Please let that phrase sink into your heart. We spend our lives chasing opportunities, financial, professional, personal. We have FOMO for worldly things. But here is an opportunity for a reward that transcends this world, an offer from the King of Kings, and it's being extended to you right now in your current condition, not in some future idealized state. To understand it, we have to go back to the origins of Tahajjud. In the early days of Islam, the believers were commanded to stand in prayer for much of the night. It was a rigorous training for the hearts. But then, as the Muslim community grew and diversified, encompassing the old, the young, the weak, the travelers, the soldiers, Allah revealed the verse of mercy. He says in Surah Al-Muzzammil, indeed, your Lord knows that you stand here in prayer almost 2/3 of the night, or half of it, or 1/3 of it. Pause here. The all-knowing is stating a fact. He knows the effort you can make. He is acknowledging your struggle before you even voice it. This is the foundation, a God who is not distant and demanding, but one who is acutely, compassionately aware. Then comes the gentle pivot, the opening of a wider, easier gate. So recite whatever is easy of the Quran. This is the first ray of light. The command isn't to recite volumes in a language of fatigue. It's to recite what is easy. A page, a verse. Even a few words with presence and reflection. The emphasis shifts from monumental quantity to sincere, manageable quality. It's an invitation, not a burden. The verse then expands this mantle of mercy to cover the vast landscape of human circumstances. He knows that there will be among you those who are ill, and others traveling throughout the land seeking Allah's bounty, and others fighting for the cause of Allah. Are you lying on a sickbed where even turning over is a struggle? Allah knows. Are you in a hotel room, disoriented from travel, seeking halal provision for your family? Allah knows. Are you fighting a different kind of battle? Against depression, against debt, against injustice? You are included in this divine understanding. Your worship is not invalidated by your condition. It is contextualized by His mercy. Your 5 prayers shortened on a journey, your recitation in a whisper from your bed, these are not deficiencies. In the calculus of divine reward, they are acts of immense valor. And now the breathtaking promise, the actual equation of grace. The verse continues by outlining the alternative path to that luminous night prayer reward. So recite what is easy from it, and establish the prayer, and give the zakah, and offer Allah a goodly loan. This is the blueprint, the reward for a night spent in prayers tied to a constellation of daytime deeds. First, establish the prayer. Not just pray, but establish it. To establish your 5 daily prayers is to build a fortress of discipline and remembrance in your day. It means striving for focus, for humility within them, for praying on time. It is the fundamental act of surrender that structures your entire life around Allah. Second, give the zakah. Fulfill the obligatory right of the wealth Allah has given you, purifying it and acknowledging that all provision is from Him. And third, go beyond the obligatory, offer Allah a goodly loan. This is any act of voluntary charity. A smile that lifts a burden, a word of truth, a dollar given secretly, helping a neighbor, even removing a harmful object from the road. This metaphor is revolutionary. You are not giving away, you are lending to the most wealthy. And what does Allah do with a loan? He repays it. Not just in kind, but multiplied beyond any earthly calculation, 700 times or more. Every small kindness becomes a spiritual investment with infinite returns. The verse culminates with a powerful key that unlocks the heart. And whatever good you send ahead for your souls, you will find it with Allah, better and greater in reward, and seek the forgiveness of Allah. Indeed, Allah is forgiving, merciful. The ultimate act in this sequence is istighfar, seeking forgiveness. This is the polish for the heart tarnished by the day's grind. It is the act of turning back, of realigning, of shedding the subtle pride of thinking our deeds are enough. It is the admission that we need Allah's mercy in everything, even in our worship. The scholars explain that the one who combines these acts, the established prayer, the fulfilled zakah, the voluntary charity, the seeking of forgiveness, all with a heart full of genuine faith and sincerity, will receive from Allah a reward equivalent to the one who stood in prayer the entire night. So let this truth dismantle the guilt, You don't have to wait for a perfect life to earn a perfect reward. The path to the reward of Tahajjud is lit by the consistency of your Fajr, the focus of your Da, the humility of your Maghrib. It is paved with the small, easy recitations you do with understanding and the countless tiny loans of kindness you extend throughout your day. It is sealed with your heartfelt astaghfirullah as you drive, as you cook, as you lie down to sleep. This is the mercy. This is the accessible treasure. Don't miss this by waiting for a moment that may never come in the form you imagine. Embrace the moment that is here, now, in the beautiful, flawed, busy reality of your life. Start today, not with a burden, but with a breath of profound relief. Allah wants this for you. He has already paved the way. All He is asking is that you take the first, easy step on the path He has made wide with His compassion. Your Tahajjud reward is waiting for you, not only in the silence of the night, but in the faithful hustle of your day. Let's sit for a moment with that feeling of being on the outside looking in. That sense of spiritual FOMO is not a sign of failure. It is, in fact, the clearest proof of a living, breathing faith within your chest. That ache for Tahajjud is the echo of a soul recognizing its true home. It's the pull of a heart designed for communion with the divine, feeling the distance. Allah placed that yearning there. He is the one who said, I am as my servant thinks of me. So what does it mean if you think of Him as the one worthy of night, long vigil? It means He has honored you with a noble thought. But here is where we must understand the character of the one we worship. He is not a taskmaster who implants a lofty desire only to punish you for your human inability to fulfill it in its most literal form. He is the wise educator, the gentle guide. He gives us the vision of the mountain peak, the purity, the closeness, the serenity of Tahajjud, not to crush us with the impossibility of the climb, but to show us the direction. And then, with the tenderest mercy, He reveals the winding, scenic path up the mountain that we can actually walk, a path with rest stops and beautiful vistas tailored to our individual stamina. The revelation of the alternative in Surah Al-Muzammil is a monumental event in the history of spiritual ease. It's a divine curriculum adjustment. Initially, the training was intense, a boot camp for the pioneers of faith. But as the community of believers grew into a global nation, encompassing every human condition imaginable, the lawgiver in His infinite wisdom promulgated the law of mercy. This verse isn't a cancellation of Tahajjud's virtue, it is its democratization. It is Allah saying, the reward of the night vigil is not exclusive to those who can physically perform it. I am making its essence, the nearness, the multiplied reward, the purification, available to every single one of you through a portfolio of deeds that weave spirituality into the very fabric of your daily life. This is the core of the message. Your spirituality is not compartmentalized into a sacred hour stolen from sleep. It is integrated into the sacred reality of your entire waking life. So let's unpack this divine portfolio, this investment strategy with guaranteed infinite returns. First, establish the prayer. The Arabic word is iqimas, salah. It doesn't just mean pray. It means to set it up, to make it firm and upright, to give it life and consistency. This is about the 5 daily prayers, yes, but it's about their quality as the foundation. When you fight distraction in Fajr, when you tear yourself away from work for dua, when you stand before Allah in Isha despite utter exhaustion, you are establishing the prayer. You are building a fortress of discipline. Each prayer is a pillar. 5 times a day, you are leaving the marketplace of the world and entering the private court of the king. That act in itself is a monumental jihad. The reward for this consistency, this daily recentering, is so vast that the Prophet said the 5 prayers are like a river flowing at your door, washing away sins 5 times a day. This is the non-negotiable bedrock. Without this, the rest is a shaky structure. With it, you have a solid platform for everything else. Then, give the zakah. This is the obligatory charity, the social justice levy that purifies wealth and soul. It is the act of recognizing that everything you own is a trust from Allah, and a portion of it has a right belonging to your brothers and sisters in humanity. Fulfilling this right is not charity in the sense of generosity, it is an act of worshipful justice. It is a direct command that roots your faith in communal responsibility. It pulls your spirituality out of solipsism and plants it firmly in the soil of society. By giving your zakah, you are declaring that your connection to Allah is intrinsically tied to your care for His creation. This purifies your wealth, increases its blessing, and protects you from the spiritual poverty of greed. It is a practical, tangible act of surrender that has global communal ramifications. Now comes the beautiful expansion, and offer Allah a goodly loan. This is the realm of voluntary charity, sadaqah. The metaphor of a loan to Allah is perhaps one of the most empowering concepts in all of Islam. You, with your limited means, are in a position to offer a loan to the owner of the heavens and the earth. Every act of kindness, feeding a hungry person, helping someone with their load, speaking a gentle word, even the smile the Prophet called a charity, is recorded as a loan. You are not diminishing your resources, you are transferring them to the most secure, most generous investment bank imaginable. And the repayment terms, Allah Himself says, who is it that would loan Allah a goodly loan so He may multiply it for him many times over? This multiplication isn't just financial, it is spiritual, emotional, and a source of barakah in every facet of your life. This loan is how you turn mundane moments into worship. Holding the door open becomes a divine transaction. Texting a check into a lonely relative becomes a deposit in your eternal account. The crown of this practice is, and seek the forgiveness of Allah, istighfar. This is the spiritual polish, the prayer, the charity. These are outward acts. Istighfar is the inward act that keeps the heart soft, receptive and humble. It is the constant return, the course correction. It acknowledges that even in our best worship, we fall short. We get distracted in prayer. We sometimes give charity with a hint of pride. We miss the mark. Istighfar is the eraser, but it's also more than that. The scholars say istighfar is not just for sins, it is for spiritual stagnation. It is the tool that opens doors of provision, eases difficulties, and invites mercy. To constantly seek forgiveness is to live in a state of humble reliance, which is the very essence of the worshipper who stands in the night. The night prayer is born from humility and need, so too is the heart that constantly whispers, Astaghfirullah. This then is the complete picture. You are not missing Tahajjud. You are being invited to capture its spirit and its reward through a holistic, sustainable spiritual practice. When you combine the firm establishment of your daily prayers, the faithful discharge of zakah, the continuous flow of voluntary good, and the constant seeking of forgiveness, you are living in a state of tahajjud. Your entire life becomes an orientation towards Allah. The clock no longer confines your connection. The reward of the night vigil is no longer locked behind the obstacle of physical exhaustion. It is unlocked by the key of consistent, integrated faith. So let go of the guilt. Embrace the mercy. Your path is not lesser. It is the path of the many made wide by divine love. Walk it with confidence and know that the one who sees your effort in the daylight is preparing for you a reward that outshines the stars of the deepest night.